Let's get a little bit of parenting advice in here at the end, Robina. We've got this from our Facebook page, Cityline's Facebook page, and continue to send us your questions. Sarah Matheson Go. She says, my son is very strong-willed. So many parents can relate. I feel like it's a losing battle. If I say potato, he says tomato. What can I do differently to try and get us on the same page?
So, let me tell you, first of all, when you have a child that is strong-willed like that, you're going to constantly feel like you're fighting them. And I think what you have to do is change your way of parenting. You have to look at your child differently, perhaps to the other two siblings. Right. How you parent two siblings, you may not be able to parent the same if it is a strong-willed child. So, let me tell you where a strong-willed child is. They're there to push your buttons. That's how it feels. They feel like they're constantly pushing your buttons and fighting you on everything. But there's nothing wrong with doing things differently. So negotiate, for example, because you can approach parenting in a challenging way because they look at it as a challenge and they'll fight you back. Right. So they want to negotiate. So the first thing is learn to negotiate. I think a lot of parents feel that they're failing as a parent if they negotiate. I've had parents tell me that. Not at all. You know, some children, if you negotiate, want to go to bed at 8 o'clock, you want them to go to bed at 7. Let's negotiate this. Meet halfway, go at 7:30. He's going to be happier with the negotiations. Another thing about strong-willed children is what they learn by actions. Okay. So if you tell them this cup is hot, no matter how many times you tell him not to touch it, he has to touch it. He's got to come and he's got to touch that cup. He's not being disobedient. He's not just pushing your buttons. That's his way of learning. He has to touch it to learn that it is hot. So those are some of the things that you have to do when you're parenting a strong-willed child. It's all about trying to change the way you think in order for your child to actually understand the way you're asking him to do things.
Okay, because if you are very much like, no, do it, and they're like, no, and you're like, do it, and they say no, you're not getting anywhere anyway. So it's not about, you know, do you want to be right or do you want to just get through this? Yeah,
and you know
right?
what?
So
for every argument that your 4-year-old invites you into, you do not have to accept.
You don't have to
engage.
Because
what happens is you end up looking like the 4-year-old as well. You know, and it just becomes this backwards, forwards battle.
Right. Okay. Great advice. Thank you.